Good morning, my lovely, sweet, creative friends. How are you today? It's a glorious day and it's a great start to the week with the Deal It Up Challenge. So if you haven't been here before, please sit back, enjoy and see whether you want to participate or not. There's no pressure. You can just watch and enjoy if you like, but if you want to participate, if you feel inspired to create along, that is absolutely awesome. So we're working on series 3 of our Faux collectors cards. We are up to card 2. So I've got my card base ready here. I am using playing cards as my base. You can use whatever base you like. They don't have to be playing card size. They can be any size you like, whatever you want to work with. But for each set of 6, I would recommend you make them the same size, so they look like they're part of a set. Okay, so let's pull the first creative prompt. We are, of course, working with the theme toys for this set of 6. So I've pre-chosen my image and pre-stamped out my word for my card. Okay, let's go. That one, grungy. Ooh, that's kind of really on my radar lately, isn't it? If you've watched Friday's video, where I made a grungy journal cover, it's popping up quite a bit. Something's trying to tell me something somewhere. Right, so we've got grungy as a prompt, and our second prompt is going to be whatever this card is, and it is brown paper. Oh, they work very, very nicely together. So there's our prompt for our theme for the series of 6, which is toys. So this is my first card with crayons down there. Now, if you don't want to make the faux playing card, this is the alternate make. So if you don't want to make the series of 6, then maybe this one is for you, or maybe you want to do both. You can even combine both if they work. Right, it's enough of a shuffle. Let's pull just that one. I'm going for the middle of each set, it seems, today. Altered paperclip. My gosh, that is coming up so regularly. It's random, I promise. It is completely a random pull. So it's just, again, maybe somewhere something is trying to tell us that's what's in vogue. I don't know. Or maybe it's just trying to get me to make more because it's something I typically have not in the past. They just seem to be too difficult, or I don't know. I don't know why I never really made many of them, but I've certainly made a few more lately with the prompt, and my cards here are getting caught up on each other. I still haven't run through and done any glue down repairs to these, so it's my own fault. Okay, we are going that card there. Now this prompt is specifically for the altered paperclip, but you can also include it on your faux collector card if you wish to, if it works, but you don't have to. And then these two, the grungy and brown paper, also apply to the altered paperclip card. Okay, clear as mud, I'm sure. Ooh, something that sparkles or shines. So interesting combination here, grungy with something that sparkles or shines. They can work together really nicely. Okay, let's put my first card up there just so I can reference my direction, that I'm keeping it cohesive. So all my bases I've chosen to back with this Spanish book page, which is a decision I made last week. And so we need brown paper, and I've got this bit that I've been using as drop paper, and I think that's going to lend us some grungy. So we're going to grab maybe the stamped bit there, and I don't know why I'm putting it away because I will need it out for the paperclip, but never mind, we'll face that one when we get to it. Grungy. What else have I got? And I'm thinking my collage fodder here I'm pretty sure I've got some grungy sort of things in here, like this. That's just paint wipe off. My gosh, today's not off to a good start with my talking ability. So we probably only need this little scrap here because I don't want to cover all my book page in the background. Let's take off this plainer area. And probably makes sense to cover the plain bit of book page in the background. The other thing I'm doing is these are actually meant to go this way. That's right, this series I'm doing sideways. Actually, I quite like that. So let's just trim along there. And then maybe a bit of this like so. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, let's glue down those two. It is a glorious autumn morning here. It's a heavy dew, so the grass is very, very wet and it needs mowing, so it's very long wet grass. I'm not going to be walking out on that anytime soon because it's just so wet. But the sky is just the clearest blue, absolutely pretty as a picture, and the sun is shining, and it's really early. It's like 8:10 in the morning as I'm recording this, because I didn't get this video recorded ahead of time. I had hoped to do it on Friday, but that didn't happen, obviously, but it's okay. I knew I'd have time this morning, so I thought, no, I'm not going to pressure myself to get 3 videos done last Friday, because I did 2. And it's like 3, you know, when you're tired, 3 was just seemed to be a step too far for me. So I thought, no, I'll just leave it till Monday morning. And we had a very, very relaxing weekend. I think I'm feeling quite a bit better on the energy levels. Well, so far so good. Saturday we did very, very little. We watched a lot of TV. I did some design work from the couch. What else did we do? Not a lot. I had a chat with the beautiful Laurel, which was just awesome. Thank you, Laurel. When hubby went for a nap in the afternoon, I chatted along with Laurel, and quite a long time. It was a good chat. So he got up. Laurel and I talked. You're probably not interested, but anyway. Talked from maybe 10 minutes after hubby went for a nap, and then hubby actually got up. We were still talking. It was good. So that was really nice. You know, good to catch up with friends. And we were talking on, you know, video chat. So that was nice. Bit of face-to-face time. And then I got in a bit of a snot on Saturday night, which was not fantastic, but hubby was supposed to be cooking tea, and we were sitting there, and it was like 6:10. We normally eat at 6:30, and like he hadn't done anything, and I knew that we were having chicken nibbles that they'd take 20 minutes to cook, and it was like, I'm hungry. So I got up, went into the kitchen, started grabbing stuff out, and he was like, what are you doing? I was like, well, somebody's got to cook. And then he got a bit miffed because I was in a snot, and you know how things go. But it all calmed down, and we had a lovely tea, and it was fine. It was just, I think we were both tired, and you know how you get a bit short-tempered, a little bit out of sorts. So we both acted a bit weird, a bit funny, and got over it and moved on. So all good. All good. And tea was really yummy. The chicken nibbles, I do them in the air fryer. I either casserole them on the fire top, or I slow air fry them, and they always come out so juicy and tender and yummy. So that was fun. Very yum. Yum, yum. Okay, so I've got this picture of these blocks, and there happens to be a boy in the picture, which is fine. Fantabulous. I am going to ink around this because of the grungy prompt. So I'm not inking around them for this series typically, but because we're going grungy for this card, I am going to dirty him up a little bit. And I think it's actually fitting with the word I've chosen as well for this card. So we're just going to go along with that. So I want to get in and get that white space. And let's really kind of hit some heavier colour. I'm wondering whether I need to grab out the ground espresso for some really deep grunge. Actually, do we want to, yeah, let's, if we're going to grungy up, let's really grungy it up and make some across his face. I don't actually mind if it goes across his face a little bit. Yep, just above his eyebrow, and maybe a little on his leg. Just bringing in that grunge factor. Oh, that was a nice big deep hit of vintage photo. Okay, so we've grunged up our picture, and my word is construction, and I'm just trying to pick it up. Come on. I've stamped it out and cut it out, and I'm going to give that a little ink as well. So how was your weekend? Did you get up to anything? Oh, I haven't finished actually telling you about my weekend. Yeah, so Saturday, a little bit sour at the end, but came right. It was fine. And it was the end of daylight savings this weekend, so we put our clocks back 1 hour on Saturday night. And Sunday morning, yeah, what'd we do? Sorry, I should be doing while I'm talking. We went out and had coffee. If you're wondering whether I ended up going out for coffee on Friday, I did not. But on Sunday morning, hubby and I went out, and he had a chai latte and I had a hot chocolate, and we took them down to the beach and walked along the beach, and it was excuse me, it was really lovely. There was a lot of cloud, but it was warm, you know, it wasn't cold, and there was a couple of fishermen there. And now, do I want to add anything else before I glue these down? I don't think so. Just really probably should work out where I want things to go. Maybe that in the middle. I quite like that in the middle. And these, just as we were leaving, these two ladies were walking along, and they came up to me and they says, "Have you got a raft out?" I was like, I must have looked confused, because they then went on to say, "There's a black thing out at sea. Have you got a raft out?" I'm like, "No, I've just come for a walk." And then they moved on and they approached the two fishermen, and they must have been asking the same thing. It's like the only thing I could see black out at sea was on the horizon was a fishing boat. It's not a raft. I don't know. And when we were driving back along, I could not see anything that they might have been referring to. So I was confused. It was random. And it's like, what would they have said if the answer was yes? If I'd like, yeah, I've got a raft out, what would they have said then? I don't know. It was just random and kind of amusing. So lovely walk along the beach. I picked up some broken shells, scallop shells, that were absolutely gorgeous, and different shades of pink. Like some were really dark pink, some were salmon pink, some were very pale. They were just beautiful. Only fragments, you know, not like a whole shell. I gave hubby a couple of whole scallop shells, you know, the flat side, but they were white. They didn't actually have any colour on them. So the variety of the colour was amazing. Okay, now we need something that sparkles or shines. What do I want to do for that? I'm actually wondering about glitter. Glitter, where are you? Bear with me a moment, my friends. Well, we have blue or tealy aqua thingy. I'm not sure that that's the right colour though. Oh, what about purple? I'm feeling darker because that blue one's very light. I'm feeling the darker option. This is glitter paint. It's very cheap, but I've actually found it's not too bad. I do have gold, but I'm thinking the gold is going to be too bright. I don't know if I've actually used this one yet. I'm going to need a wet wipe. Hang on. Definitely going to need a wet wipe. Because I'll put this on with my fingers. So just grab out a wet wipe. So I'm not trying to do that when I've actually already got the glitter on my fingers. So there we go. Rightio, let's put some glitter on for the something that sparkles or shines. That definitely sparkles or shines. Yeah, I think the dark purple is the right choice. Now I'm going to have to let this dry before I put my gold around the edge, otherwise I might end up with the purple glitter in my gold ink, and I don't want that. Oops, I've got some cat fur in there. Okay. I think that really adds to the grunge actually. Good choice. Right, wipe off my glittery finger. A new pack of wet wipes that were given to me by a lady from church. She's can only use certain ones because they're sensitive skin, and she bought these ones thinking they'd be okay, and they're not. So she gave me a pack, which was just lovely, and it's not the first time she's done that. So free pack of wet wipes, yes. Right. Now, before I do the gold around it, we are going to set that aside to dry a bit. And let's move on to the altered paper clip. So grab out a paper clip. Right, brown paper. So let's take a section of this. And I'm thinking to make it really, really rough. Fold that in half. Grab out the ground espresso. It's going to be a bit tricky getting the edges of this brown paper, but it doesn't matter if I make a mess while we're doing it, because that's the point, isn't it? Making sure I'm getting some of those creases as well. You know what I can do with this? Since I'm going to be doing a grungy journal, I can use this in my grungy journal. well, that's pretty exciting to have a piece I can use in it. To get some good ink on my sponge. That's better. Doesn't, you know, just dabbing it doesn't really put a lot of ink on my pad there. Alright, let's ink some creases. Okay, that's certainly grunged it up a bit. Right, next step. We need, of course, a base for this. I've got this glue page here. It's a bit sticky. Yeah, no, we won't use that, but we will use a fresh glue page. Why not? Just a bit of book page. So you need it to be, yep, about that long. I'm just gonna, so that's folded in half, and I'm gonna slide it in there, and I want to make it almost as wide as our top layer, which is the grungy paper. So we do about the end of dryness, where it says dryness on the paper. Make sure it fits in there nicely without showing. Beautiful, yes. Right, and now I'm going to glue it, and I think I'll just use, shall I just use tacky glue, or should I use my fabric glue, or I could try Aileen's, let's try this, because I haven't filled up my tacky glue bottle. And we're going to need a good amount of glue because it's going to be gluing the paper clip. Have I actually opened this? I'm sure I have. Haven't used it for a while. Yep, there we go. I think it's just slightly clogged in the tip. So it's just letting a tiny narrow little bead of glue out. Gosh, either it's got gluggy from sitting and not being used, or it's a lot tackier than my usual tacky glue. So making sure I put a good amount, because it's got to keep that paper clip in there. I'm just going to press it around the paper clip. And that paper clip doesn't look straight, but we're going grungy, right? Doesn't matter whether the paper clip is actually straight or not. It'll still perform its function. Right, now this side, gosh, I wish I could perhaps get a little bit more out at a time than what I'm getting, but gosh, it's certainly giving my hand a workout. Right, but we got there. And same thing on this, I'm going to press it in around the paper clip. Okay, so so that whatever we put it over, whether it's a page or something, will fit right like that. Okay, right, what do I want to add to it? I'm not sure that I want to do glitter this time. I might resort to that. But another thought would be, I've got these butterflies that I've punched out of card that I've covered with chocolate foils, and that shines. That one's come apart a little bit. Let's just put a little bit of glue on that. Just my regular tacky glue. Come on, you deciding not to work on me now. Tool malfunctions. That's what it is, it's a tool malfunction. And I haven't touched my glue over the weekend, so there it could be that. Yeah, it is definitely clogged. Quite an effort to put the pin down. Is that going to work? No, it is well and truly clogged. I'm going to have to go in from underneath and get that one. So let's just put a little glue stick on instead. All that, and I might not even use it, but there you go. Filming, you just kind of do what presents itself. I'm kind of liking these ones that are half silver, half blue. To me, that's perhaps a little bit more on the grungy side. This one's got some foil missing, so we might also count that as a little bit of grunge. Maybe hit those missing areas with the ink. Because I think pretty can go with grunge. Let me know if I'm wrong. What do you reckon? Can pretty go with grunge? Don't know that I want. I'm not sure that it's actually doing it for me, guys. I don't think it's working. Okay, I've got stars. Are the stars in foil as well? Yeah, the stars are foil. What about stars? There's a heart. I don't think I want the hearts. I've got some black butterflies, but they are not sparkling or shining. So perhaps not, even though they fit with the grunge. So how many? Quite a few stars. I don't think I've used any of the stars actually that I punched out of foil. Just looking for any more silver. There's another one. Whoops. Yep, that's it. Okay. Hang on, I'll just put my pin away before I end up with it in my finger or something weird like that. Weird and painful. I feel like I'm lacking a focal point. I think that's my problem. Like these in themselves aren't a focal point. what could I put there that's kind of grungy? I'm thinking something stamped would lean that way. Okay, let's do that. It's a stamped faux postage stamp on coffee dyed paper. Let's give it some ground espresso. Okay, now glue. Which glue am I going to use, my friends? Let's go back to the Aleene's tacky glue and give my hand another workout. So yeah, I need to attend to my glues, don't I? They're feeling unloved. You go, you haven't used us for a whole, what, 2 days? I know, it's unheard of in my world. But it was so nice to have a weekend off and doing something a little bit different. Like just concentrating on doing some design work and enjoying that without the thought of I should be doing something else, or you know, was working on a pattern that I thought would be easy and simple. Turned out that was not the case. It was anything but I persevered and I worked through it and got that done and was really, really happy with it. And then there's a design competition coming up. Closes this Thursday, I think. And I hadn't started my design for that, so I started that and really happy with what I've come up with. But again, it was giving me some awful trouble. And I don't know how many versions I did before I actually sorted it all out. And then I started doing different sizes and then ran into more issues. So that foil's lifting up as well. Let's put a bit of glue there. Yeah, so multiple versions, which took me probably most of Sunday. I was working on it pretty consistently, apart from when we went out for about an hour or just under an hour with our coffees down at the beach, or our drinks. Neither of us actually had a coffee. Yeah, so it's a lot of work, but it was fun and it was rewarding and I'm really happy. But I'm now doing, I haven't finished yet, I'm doing multiple colour variations now. Okay, that's pretty cool. Now it is double-sided. We need to do the other side. What about a beetle on some coffee dyed, ink stained paper? Finish my words, finish my sentence. Put that right in the middle. Actually, I want to hit it first with the ground espresso. Hold on, glue. I'll get back to you in a moment. So what was your weekend like? Did you get up to anything exciting? Did you have a chill weekend? Did you have an active one, a social one? We were having pretty much a no people weekend. You know, we didn't go to church. We didn't, like when we went out for coffee, we didn't go to a cafe where there's people. We went down the beach, and yes, there were people, but there's plenty of space down at the beach that we didn't have to talk to anybody, except when you get two random ladies coming up and asking if you've got a raft out. So random. Yeah, but we pretty much, you know, didn't people. We did go op shopping on Saturday. Didn't buy much. I bought a packet of paper fasteners, the two-pronged ones that fold over and you put the flat thing on top, then fold them over. I don't know if that explains it. They're not beside me, so I can't show you. And And for $2 a pack of those, I don't know how many's in it, maybe 20 or so. It's not a complete pack, but it's fine. I'm just going to use those 2 silver stars, I think. So we'll put these ones back here, or they'll end up on the floor. And from the clearance rack at the other op shop, so the fasteners were from one op shop, we've got 2 in our little town. From the other one, there was a clearance rack of clothing, and I picked up a dress for $2. And for $2, and pretty nice dress too. I thought for $2 I'm willing to take a chance. I didn't try it on or anything, so I bought it and I tried it on when I got home, and I like it, but there is an alteration I want to do to it. I prefer a longer skirt, you know, longer length on my dresses and skirts, so I want to add another layer. And also the dress part, there's a cape that goes over top, and then the dress part is quite clingy, and I prefer my flowy, you know, flowy and long. That's my style. So I want to add, and it's quite thin, so I want to add another layer that, you know, flows out and covers down to my feet, or my ankles at least. And I think I might have some fabric to do that with. Don't know when I'll do it, but you know, it's a project. Like I'm short on projects. Not. But there we go. That is my altered paperclip. And we've done grungy, we've done brown paper, we've done something that sparkles or shines. And that's that. I'm happy with that. That's going to go in my grungy journal. And then this one, we should, it's not completely dry, and I just put it all over my fingers, but we're going to do the gold around the edge. Oh, that's a nice juicy wet wipe. Oh, nice and juicy. Fresh packet, and everything's not dried out. Right, so into the ink. I still have not cleaned up around the edges, guys. You know, one day. Right, so just going to wipe this Liquitex iridescent gold ink, and this also shines, so it actually does work with the prompt. Yeah, I think gold and gold on a grungy would have been too much. Would have taken away from the grunge factor, I think. There we go. Right, so now I'm not going to touch it. So we've got altered paperclip and our faux collector's card with toys, brown paper and grungy, and altered paperclip with grungy, brown paper and something that sparkles or shines, which we also put on this card as well. Okay guys, that is it. I hope you are encouraged to give it a go. Have a play. It's just fun. It's not serious. Just get creative. And if you don't love it at the end, at least you've been creative. You've worked out that creative need in your very, very soul. You know, and sometimes that's all we need, is just to be creative. Not so much about what we create, but just being creative. That's my pep talk for a Monday morning to get you inspired to be creative this week. I hope you can find time to do so. Thanks for joining me, my friends. I'll be back again tomorrow with Trashcraft Tuesday, and I hope to see you then. Bye for now.